This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. Charlotte declares a state of emergency after a second night of riots. Presidential candidate Donald Trump advocates a stop-and-frisk policy for Chicago. And Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton speaks out on the violence in Charlotte. Hello, this is Matador News, and I'm Curtis Poindexter.
And I'm Kelly Landaverde. Charlotte, North Carolina braces for the possibility of more protests. This after police and demonstrators clashed for a second night over the fatal police shooting of Keith Lamont Scott. Police Chief Kerr Putney says the shooting happened at 8:33 Tuesday night.
The shooting that took place, there's a lot of information about who did that shooting. We're reviewing video, and we're assessing our people who were there as well, because an allegation was made that one of our officers might have been involved. As I said before, guys, we're here to seek the truth. So we're investigating that to find the truth, the absolute truth.
The state's governor said last night that he will deploy the National Guard and Highway Patrol to Charlotte. Demonstrations took place throughout yesterday. Some protesters overturned trash cans and set the contents on fire. They started to break up after police fired tear gas. One protester is in critical condition after being shot. U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch is calling for a peaceful way forward and is offering support from the FBI.
Presidential candidate Donald Trump is suggesting the controversial policy of stop and frisk is a way to end gun violence. A federal judge already ruled this policy unconstitutional back in 2013, saying it violated the constitutional rights of minorities. This morning on Fox and Friends, Trump clarified that he was proposing the plan specifically for Chicago. Trump says Chicago is out of control and that the state of African-American community is in the worst shape than it's ever been. Chicago had 90 homicides in the month of August alone this summer. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel says he'll add 1,000 new police officers as response to the high level of crime rate. Emanuel also plans an expansion of the use of body cameras and mandatory de-escalation training for all officers.
A student at Anchor High School in Hesperia has been arrested after a death list was found in his possession. Authorities say they found a detailed plan to shoot 33 students and staff members on campus. San Bernardino officials say the student had a very extensive plan and was completely capable of carrying out an attack. The student's plans also detailed the use of explosives. Anchor High was searched by bomb squad canines, but no explosives were found. Investigations began after a parent notified the sheriff's department of threats posted on social media. A search warrant was obtained and the student's home was searched. He has been arrested and is being held at a juvenile detention center.
Now, let's go to the newsroom with Jannette Contreras on graduation rates.
California State University plans to increase graduation rates across all 23 campuses. The Board of Trustees has decided to budget $75 million to reach their goal of 100,000 bachelor degrees by 2025. CSUN's Director of Media Relations, Carmen Chandler, says money is not the primary focus and faculty and students have to work together in order to move forward.
So the number one key in all of this is communication. From the student with the advisors and the faculty advisors to the people who work with students. And the reality is on this campus we've tried to encourage a dialogue with everybody, not just the person you deal with on an immediate basis, but when you think of retention and graduation rates, everybody thinks, oh, that's got to be just the advisor's fault. No.
USU's plan to increase the 6-year graduation rate for first-time freshmen to 60% by 2025. CSUN is almost halfway towards the goal with a 6-year graduation rate of 39%. Now, let's go back to Kelly in the studio for more news.
World leaders are meeting at the United Nations, and one of the topics they're working on is the attack on Syria. Secretary of State John Kerry proposed another ceasefire agreement at the UN Security Council meeting. He wants to ground all aircraft flying in northwest Syria, where a humanitarian convoy was destroyed. The U.S. has accused Moscow of the attack. Syrian President Bashar Assad blames the U.S. for the collapse of the ceasefire. Another meeting is set to happen today between Iran, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Russia, and the United States.
A Ventura County firefighter has been pronounced dead after a fatal accident. The Ventura County Fire Chief says Ryan Osler died in a line-of-duty vehicle. Officials say there were 2 firefighters in a water tender truck when they crashed. They were on their way to help with the fire at Vandenberg. The 2,000-pound water truck rolled over multiple times after hitting a roundabout in Lompoc. The driver was extricated and is being treated at Lompoc Valley Medical Center. California Highway Patrol says Osler was trapped inside the vehicle when it crashed. CHP is currently investigating the cause of the crash.
Strong winds will spread to the mountain areas in Ventura and Los Angeles counties today. Gusts of 45 to 50 miles per hour are possible. Forecasters have issued a fire weather watch and wind advisories for the region ending tonight. Meanwhile, fires are still burning in Santa Barbara County, Big Sur, and Vanderburg. More advisories will be issued for the weekend as Santana winds are expected along with warmer temperatures.
Now back to Joselynn with the latest on business.
Banking experts are now saying Wells Fargo is not the only bank involved with those intense sales tactics. Several employees at large and regional banks like Bank of America have said they too are under immense pressure to open multiple accounts. Earlier this week, Wells Fargo CEO John Stump testified before the Senate Banking Committee, where he was accused by Senator Elizabeth Warren of profiting from this scandal.
The share price during this time period went up by about $30, which comes out to more than $200 million in gains, all for you personally.
Warren has urged Stump to resign from his position. Music sales are up again after more than 20 years of negative sales from illegal music purchasing. For the first half of 2016, there has been a strong growth in revenue from subscription streaming services. Overall, revenues increased 8.1% on a year-over-year basis to $3.4 billion. This is the strongest industry growth since the late 1990s for record labels. Now, let's go to Daniel Martindale with the latest in health.
Thanks, Joselynn. Southern California drivers might be facing an increase in vehicle registrations. Air quality regulators are seeking an increase to help pay for smog reduction programs. The South Coast District released a draft plan in June. If the fees increased by $30 for LA, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties, it would generate $300 million a year. South Coast air quality management officers are still figuring out a final plan that will work. The American Heart Association says smoking can cause major damage to your DNA. Their research claims smoking can leave footprints on human genes that can lead to heart disease and cancer. Some people even showed effects up to 30 years after they quit smoking. The researchers say smoking alters gene functions and may harm the body. Let's go back to Joselynn with the latest in entertainment news.
President Obama is presenting the National Medal of the Arts at the White House today. Tony Award winners Audra McDonald, Mel Brooks, and Eugene O'Neill Theater Center will be awarded with their honors. Playwright Luis Valdez, writer Sandra Cisneros, and Oscar winner Morgan Freeman are others who will be receiving honors at the ceremony as well. The National Medal Arts was created to honor artists and supporters of the arts and are selected by National Endowment of the Arts. Actor Jim Carrey has recently come across a lawsuit accusing him of killing his former girlfriend. Cathriona White was found dead in her Sherman Oaks home back in 2015. At the time, she was believed to have committed suicide. White's widow, Mark Burton, is suing Carrey for allegedly supplying prescription drugs that led to her fatal overdose. Carrey says the lawsuit is a heartless attempt to exploit him and the woman he loved. Now, let's go back to Daniel with the latest in sports.
All right, Vin Scully's last Dodgers-Giants home game features a rout of the longtime rival.
The great Vin Scully will call the fourth.
Dodgers outfielder Yasiel Puig stole the show with his bat. We pick up in the bottom of the first where Puig rips a 3-run home run 408 feet to right center. Pitcher Kenta Maeda was strong on the mound, but he can help himself at the plate too.
Maeda singles to
He lines an RBI single to center, scoring Carlos Ruiz.
coming to the plate, Hernandez.
Maeda picked up his 16th win of the season. 4 of those wins have come against the rival Giants. The Dodgers ended up cruising to a 9-3 victory after this hit by Andrew Tolles.
It's going to get to the fence. Hernandez around third, on his way to the plate, throw skips away. Kike in, and it's 9-2.
Their magic number to clinch the National League West title is now at 5 wins. Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton is speaking out against the violence in Charlotte, North Carolina.
You know, I am not happy what or how, you know, the justice has been, you know, kind of dealt with over the years, you know, the state of oppression in our community. But we also, as black people, have to do right by ourselves. You know, we can't be hypocrites.
Tuesday's fatal police shooting of Keith Lamont Scott happened just 15 minutes away from the Panthers' home stadium. The Panthers are scheduled to play in Charlotte against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. NFL and team officials are meeting today about the possibility of moving the game after 2 nights of civil unrest. Now let's go back to Curtis with more in news.
It's National Ice Cream Cone Day, and if you ever plan to scream for ice cream, then today is the day. No one can say who invented the cone for sure, but they appeared in French cookbooks as early as 1825. They were referred to as little waffles because they were literally waffles rolled into cones. The ice cream cone made its debut at the World's Fair in St. Louis in 1904. The inventors sold this cone to Nabisco in 1924, who still makes the ice cream cones we know and love today. This year, Ice Cream Cone Day also shares the date for the first day of fall. Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Curtis Poindexter.
I'm Kelly Landaverde.
I'm Daniel Martindale.
And I'm Joselynn Castro.